Today I wanted to talk about Blight. Now, we haven't revisited Blight in Acropolis League for a while, but very recently Scarabs were reworked and an additional Blight Scarab was added. Blight in itself has gone through some small changes in the form of Scarabs, and they have been actually fantastic and out of this world. With the Scarab rework, we have a bunch of really cool abilities and ways to handle Blight now in maps, and a couple of different things that stand out. We have the ability to just guarantee Blight. We have the ability to open chests again up to 40%. I think this node is really strong. We have the ability to find all of our tiers are an uptick higher. This is really good. This one, the Scarab that I'm out of, actually allows us to get multiple Blight Ravage maps inside of tier 16 maps. And then a little bit later on, when Scarabs were reworked, they added in more Scarabs. They gave us something additional, and they gave us the Blight Scarab of Invigoration. Now, this Scarab is really interesting. This one says each empowering tower in areas grants blighted monsters in range increased difficulty and rewards. Now, originally I was just like, that's really interesting. I have a lot on my plate. We'll revisit this. So a buddy of mine tested it and he was like, it did this. And I was like, that sounds really weird. He's like, it's kind of whatever. And I was just like, cool, I'm going to test it soon. And he's like, yeah, you'll see, it's thingy bobbers. And I was just like, that doesn't seem right. But you know, we put a pin in it and we revisit it in the future. But what's really interesting is there's a lot of people who are looking for ideas for like leaks. I know it's a little bit early. I know that's a little bit crazy, but a buddy of mine messaged me and he goes, hey man, have you played with Blight Scarab Invigoration? And I said, no, you know, so-and-so tried it, said it was okay. It's kind of whatever, do the normal Blight thing. And he's like, bro, I'm telling you there's something there. And I was like, there's no way. He's like, I'm telling you there's something there. So I was like, all right, what do you got? And he was like, try it and do it this way. And I was like, So I hopped on stream and I made myself a standard Blight Atlas tree. And you know, everything's pretty much the basics. We block out all the mechanics. We want nothing to do with any of the mechanics. We only want Blight, and we block out all the mechanics so that we can farm the good Scarabs. We take, you know, the haunted modifiers if this is still in the Acropolis League because we want to get some corpses for corpse crafting. We take immune response for more monsters because we want to test with a bunch more monsters. We're going to have a bunch of Blight bosses. Those are unique bosses or unique mobs. We want increased Scarabs. We take epidemiology for Blight chests they're lucky and to contain blighted maps because why not? Sturdy construction because we want to make sure that Blight monsters in our map take a ton of extra damage. He had warned me that this one does indeed make the mobs a little bit stronger and a little bit harder. So I was like, okay, our character's geared, but let's add this in just to be on the safe side. We want additional Blight oils for jewelry, so we're going to be taking this like normal. And we have Blight spawn where Blight chests in your map contain an oil extractor. The oil extractor plus the anointed jewelry is how we pull out the oils out of jewelries, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. The rest of the Atlas tree, pretty basic. We take some altars, we take some Scarabs, we take some altar effect nodes, we take some all flame nodes, and we go there and we go forth. Now, before we get into what the Scarab does, we need to have a baseline of how Blight works and what the loot should look like, and the easiest way to do that is to take a bunch of white tier 16 waste pool maps and run them with nothing. So we're going to take the first one and we're going to pretty much do this all together. And this is the exact same way that I did this on stream so that we can get a really solid baseline of what's going on. Now, when this is done and when this is concluded, I'm going to ask you guys what you think and, you know, what's going on. And maybe you guys saw something I missed. Maybe there's something I didn't see. Maybe something's going on. I don't know. And I'm really curious what you think. Now, the Blight we see right here, we're actually picking up this kinetic bolt. We're going to throw it over here so it's out of the way. We see there's no loot. There's nothing around the area. We're going to start our Cassia pump. And usually we would do the standard. We would pick Wastepool because Wastepool is a really good map. Wastepool gives us, you know, condensed lanes, and we like condensed lanes because we want to make sure that we can get the most amount of blighted maps out of this. And we pretty much just do the standard norm. We build our towers inside of maps and we clear the blights. The hardest thing about doing this test is like, you know, how long the blights in themselves take, but you know, that's fine. And we really want to get an accurate, well, as close to accurate, like small sample size for a video that we could talk about. Now, the thing is, Blight, we know that Blight chests are not affected by Magic Find. I believe that only the pump explosion is affected by Magic Find because it affects the mobs that you kill. And if I understand this correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that the mobs in themselves from what we kill throughout the event is what drops all of the loot, and that can be modified and affected by the map in itself and altars and Magic Find. So in theory, if we Magic Find the mobs and the map is crazy juicy, we should in theory be able to get a ton, and I mean an absolute ton of loot. And that's kind of what we're aiming to see. We're pretty much trying to get a baseline of what loot should look like from the explosion on a white tier map. We know that these are going to be good no matter what. In a normal league start scenario, we'd have a bunch of loot here that we'd be pretty happy about. We would get a bunch of loot here that we'd be pretty happy about. And we would get, you know, blighted maps and all kinds of good things that we can mess around with. Now, coming over here, we see that there's like an okay amount of loot. Granted, my loot filter is filtering out a ton of it because we're super late into the league. So it makes it a little bit hard to gauge things. But if we were going for an early league scenario and we did this, we see that there's, you know, a pretty reasonable amount of things that we would get. You know, we got a couple of uniques, we got a couple of rares, and I know it's nothing to write home to the bank about. I know somebody's gonna be like, I don't see the point. And I'm just like, just bear with me, stay with me. Just bear with me here. So we run the essential test again. We just go into a map and we just kind of want to get a baseline of what loot should look like. We go in, we clear the mobs, we look for the blight, we're pretty happy. And we just kind of get like an idea of what we should expect. And then we're going to, you know, scale it up just a little bit to see what we can do. Okay. Now we come over here. We have the same loot filter on. We see that no real loot is coming. And all that we're really interested in is the loot that spawns around the pump in itself. Now, ooh, some scarabs. I know it's late in the league and I'm still all excited about scarabs. I don't care, bro. I like my scarabs. All right, so we're gonna clear this out. And what we really want to see is, you know, is the loot just really basic? I know this late in the league, it's nothing home to write the bank about, but I do have an idea based on information that was given to me, and I do think there's going to be something there. Now, you know, you could skip ahead if you want, but I really think to give a fair assessment of what to look for, we need to truly understand what loot looks like and what we should be expecting. Now, usually these don't take too long. They're maybe like a minute each. So, you know, we got some time to kill. Okay, that looks good. I like this Frostblade's character a lot. Now, note with this character, I have no magic find gear on. I have nothing affecting the quant or anything on the map. I want to be able to give it a fair shot across the board at the very basics and bare minimum, because I do think for a league start scenario, Blight is, and I've said this a lot, one of my absolute, ooh, what did we get? Oh, ooh, well, that's pretty cool. Now you see it's very basic loot. You know, we have a typical screen of loot, nothing really to write home about. And I know there's going to be a bunch of people that are like, I still don't understand what's going on. Now, bear with me. Now let's up our test a little bit. And let's try to get into a little bit more meat of what I want to do. Now, very recently, a buddy of mine said, why don't you include a bunch of unique scarabs? And I said, unique scarabs, what do you mean? He goes, if you take more uniques that drop and more unique monsters in the map drop additional items, you should see more league start viable uniques and more league start loot that should make for, you know, early gains and early economy. And I was just like, that's really interesting. And he made a really good point, especially if you're doing a bunch of blighted maps inside of maps. You sometimes, when your map is juiced enough, you do get a ton, and I mean a ton of unique bosses. And those unique bosses with that Scarab will drop a lot of loot. The only problem with the idea behind this is it might be a little bit hard to do on day 1 or day 2. Scarabs might be in small quantities, but for week 1 loot and week 1 characters, they should in theory be able to handle the bosses. And if you can handle the bosses, everything goes well, you'll overall be pretty happy. So we're going to do a test now. We're going to include 100% increased uniques of items found. And, you know, we're going to do 2 of those. So we're going to get 200% increased unique items found. And we're going to get unique monsters in the area, drop another additional unique. Now, in theory, what we should see when we clear this blight is that we should see the map in itself drop a ton of extra uniques. That's the running theory, right? More uniques, 200%, kill a bunch of mobs, get a bunch of uniques, have a boss, guarantee a unique, and everything should be good. And everything should be straightforward. And we see the map in itself isn't too strong. We don't have the empowering towers making things harder. And we feel overall pretty good about ourselves. Now, we'll do 2 maps of this. We'll take a look at what the loot looks like, and then we're really going to compare it with the Invigorating Scarab. So we've done a very baseline. We saw what the loot looks like. We saw there's maybe 1 unique, 2 uniques, you know, pretty standard loot. You know, we got a really cool div card, which is RNG. And, you know, we're going to take a look at what it's like to add in an extra, you know, a bunch of extra uniques. In theory, if this goes well, and this is an idea, this might be a way for non-Magic Find characters to be able, in the early stages of the league, find unique or find good ways to get unique items. And to be honest, that's really exciting, because if that just opens up another door for Blight, that gives another avenue to just make a bunch of really early league currency. All right, almost done. I think, maybe, possibly. It's very satisfying watching the frost blades do its thing in the little explosions. Okay, so we got a bunch of oils. So we see right away there's more uniques. And the loot explosion in itself, once again, nothing to write home to the bank about. But we do see that we get the extra uniques, and we're pretty happy about that. It did what we wanted it to do. All of the maps have been pretty much 2 uniques. We got 1 map boss there. You know, one of those is the map drop that came from it. We grab our blighted maps. We're really happy. We grab our oil and we go next. Oh, actually, I want to grab that. I forgot about this. Give me this. This is for later. This is important for later. And then we put in our next map and we go again. Now we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to put all the good mods to the bottom. We want them to not affect any of the kind of tests that we're doing. We're going to put all of this away and we're going to hop right into a map. Okay, so let's go find the Cassia. Oh no, my Tamagotchi. He's fine. Okay. I recently got a Tamagotchi for my son, and he's like, Dad, please keep it alive. So I gotta feed the little Tamagotchi. So please forgive me. Okay, he's good. He's chilling. He's chilling. He's chilling. All right, let's start the event. Now, we're going to be looking for pretty much roughly the same thing. We should get maybe 3, maybe 4 uniques. We have only 1 Blight boss spawning, which we're, you know, it's kind of like whatever. The idea to get more Blight bosses to really take advantage of it would be to really juice our maps. You know, try to get those, you know, really high tier 6 modded, 8 modded maps. That'll give us more monsters that are spawning, more unique bosses, so forth and so on. But we're not going to like do that right now. We're not going to push into that. We just kind of want to get a very basic baseline of how loot and everything should look. Now, we've done 3 maps already. This is map number 4, and all of the loot, and I bring this up again because I think this is the important part, all of the loot in itself has not really like gone very large on the screen. Like, it hasn't really covered, you know, the loot explosions have been pretty tame and pretty mild. And, you know, it's nothing, like I said, I say this a lot in this video, but it's nothing really to write home to the bank about. And what we're trying to see is we're trying to really see if this Blight Invigoration Scarab really puts it over the edge. Because if it puts it over the edge, there is a good argument to start doing some magic finding. And there is a good argument to just really test and see how the Scarab does. There might be something that we missed. I don't think the Scarab was put into the game for any, you know, any XDD reason. I think it was really put into the game so that we have more reasons to explore Blight. And I don't think that we've done the due diligence to really check it out. Now, there might be some of you guys who have like gone in there and done a whole lot with it and really explored it. And if you have, I'd like to know about your findings, how it works, what's going on. And please, by all means, leave a comment down below and let me know. But once again, we do it. We saw that, you know, we don't really get a whole lot of loot. The explosion's not really there. And you're just kind of like, it's like, why am I going to bother for anything other than blighted maps? And the idea becomes pretty solid. Like, why am I going to go through all this trouble? And I'm just going to get like everything that's just like even filtered out by Neversink. And it feels, you know, it feels pretty bad. But maybe there's more to it. Maybe there's something we're not seeing. And this is where this Scarab comes into play. Now, we'll take these out and we'll put the same Scarabs in. We're going to get 100% more unique monsters. We're going to get blighted. You know, they give more loot, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to take another map. We're going to put it in. We're going to move this to the bottom. And I honestly want to, you know, show you guys what the loot looks like and, you know, maybe start to do some more tests. Now, I have a character that has Magic Find gear, and we can hop on it and we can really explore it. Now, this Scarab says that the monster's loot is affected by, oh, that's pretty cool. The monster's loot is affected by empowering towers. And we know that we can scale the explosion, like I said, with, you know, magic find, the skin, and everything else like that. We're not going to do any of that, but we are going to try to take advantage of the empowering towers and see how they work. Now, usually when we do Blight, we anoint our rings, and we anoint our rings for freezing towers, meteor towers, or, you know, all kinds of fun stuff. But for this test, I have my rings anointed with empowering towers have increased effect, and empowering towers have increased range. The reason why I do this is on maps like this, you don't usually get a whole lot of towers. You usually don't get a whole lot of range. So with this, we are able to really take advantage and put our towers and put them over the edge. Now, I have been told the effects of the empowering towers stack. So as long as the range is large enough and they do overlap, you should be able to maximize the amount that you get out of it. I have also been told that you only want to kill mobs that are inside of the overlapping towers. So if you're going to try this strategy and you are going to make empowering towers, you want to kill mobs in the biggest overlap right now. So that we see right now that the portal is within both towers. We see that the edge of this portal comes here, and we're making sure that we're killing all of the mobs before they get here. Now you see right away too, the mobs actually take an extra hit. You know, I know you might not notice it, but I notice it from playing this character a lot. They do indeed take an extra hit to die. They don't die as fast and as quick. And I have tested this in rare maps and 8 modded maps. These mobs are a little bit harder. They see, look, they do take a little bit more to die. And if your character is not like stronger, you might struggle a little bit. Now, there's something else I was going to say. Oh my God. My brain. Oh, what? How did something leak? Oh my God. What is going on? Okay. I'm a little worried there. Now you see, even here, the loot in itself has just been extra. And I don't know if the pustules are affected by this. I don't think they are. But you can see right there, it's just a little bit extra. And we come over here and we see that the loot that like sneaks out isn't too important. The thing to really take away, like I said, the loot that's like popping out of the explosion isn't too important, but the thing that we see here is the loot in itself is more. We have more loot. It's bigger explosions. And I know everybody's like, oh my God, he's crazy. And I'm like, I'm not crazy, bro. I'm telling you, it's more loot. And you're gonna be like, nah, bro, it's not more loot. I'm telling you, like, it's more loot. I know you're gonna think I'm crazy. I know I might sound crazy. I might even have convinced myself I'm crazy, but while I don't think it's anything too nuts, I do think there's a world that we can explore this. And I'm going to do another map, and I'm just going to kind of show you guys. Actually, yeah, we'll do another white tier map. And then we'll do a map that's, you know, a map. And you'll see for yourself. Nice. Okay. Could you imagine if that brick? That would have been so sad. All right, so we go here. We look for the thing. The explosion. We're going a little crazy. I know somebody's gonna be like, my God, this guy's going nuts. The Necropolis League was too long. He's reaching. I swear I'm not reaching. I know there's something here. I know there's something there. I'm not crazy. I swear. Maybe. Okay, maybe I'm a little nuts. I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. All right, so this one's gonna be a little bit different because of the weird overlapping. We're gonna have to kill everything in this little hole right here. So we're just gonna wait. We're gonna chill. We're going to let mobs do mobs. We have a little bit more room to work with. We're going to kill the mobs right there. Oh, see, they're so much harder. It's crazy. It's actually really noticeable. I don't think this increased difficulty would be like this much noticeable, but it's pretty noticeable. It's kind of wild, actually. I actually don't want to die to that tower. That tower might actually just kill me. Okay, wait. Stop. Chill. Chill, bro. Chill. Okay, we're good. Now, something to note, something that's really important. This Scarab says empowering towers. So if I upgrade these towers to tier 4 to imbuing or smothering, the theory is, and from what I saw, the Scarab stops working, that it's only affected by empowering towers. So you have to make sure that you don't upgrade the tower to tier 4. Now, I know that's weird, right? But it's the same thing with like the freezing towers, and it's the same thing with the other tower, the the freezing and the stun towers. So, you know, we pretty much do this exact same strategy for, you know, blighted maps in themselves, where we build towers, we get them to tier 3, and we leave them alone. Okay. Perfect. So you see, look at the difference already. I know somebody's be like, you're crazy. There's nothing there. I'm telling you, bro. Like, I think I'm crazy. Maybe I'm actually the crazy one in this. But you see, we got a bunch of extra uniques that have dropped. The loot in itself, the little explosion's a little bit bigger, and you know, we see more overall loot. And the same thing when we click on these pustules. You know, we're talking about a white tier map, nothing really fancy, nothing, you know, there's nothing on it. And the loot in itself is bigger and massive, and you know, we see that there's actual results. Now we put all of these away, we put this jewelry over here for later. We come over here, we grab another map, and we put it in. We're gonna put these to the bottom again. We want this to affect our test. I love the lantern, and I'm gonna be so sad when it's gone, and I really hope ball flames stay. But for testing purposes, this thing makes everything a little bit awkward. Okay, so we're gonna blitz past some of these mobs. Now this map's gonna be a little bit harder. This map's gonna be a little bit more. This map is, you know, it should, in theory, bring about more loot, and we should notice a large, substantial difference in the pump explosion, simply due to the fact that it's scaled up, but also because it's scaled up, it'll affect everything else. Okay, please don't die. No. Okay, I'm gonna take that. So we see the same thing again. We have two towers. We're gonna grab this. We're gonna grab this. We're gonna scale these up. We're gonna move all this out of the way. No. Oh, we have 3 empowering towers this time. That's exciting. So maybe we get like triple the effect. Okay. Okay. Make this one larger. Oh my God, they're going faster. They're going faster. Okay. Make sure there's no other towers and we're good. Now we just hope to not die. Okay. Now I'm not making this as like a currency farming video, right? I think there's something here, and I really want to explore this idea more. And while I'm exploring this idea more, while we have time in Acropolis League, I mostly want to get the idea out there and see if any of you guys have actually had the opportunity to test, mess around with it, have any cool ideas, or if you have ways that I can purposely test it, or have like, you know, factors or variables that I can add to my map, or different Scarab combinations. I'd love to hear about it, and I love to know, because I'm willing to, you know, give it a good run and see what it does. Now look, now if we look at the loot, it is just astronomical. It's just, it's so much. And I know somebody's be like, oh, but it's a lot of crap. And you're right, it's a lot of crap, and it's a lot of stuff that if I were to put a real loot filter on, whoops, if I put a real loot filter on, it would be filtered out. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. And I fully agree with you. If I put on my loot filter, it filters out a lot of it, like a whole lot of it. And this isn't going to be one of those things that we're going to explore and we're going to test for early game scenarios, or for late game scenarios. This is something that we're trying to test out and see if this is going to be really, really, really good in an early game league scenario. Like, look at all of the uniques that you have dropping. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's a lot of loot. And I don't think that we have actually explored what this has to offer. And I think there's something really there. How it needs to be properly done, wow, there's a lot of loot even out of these, my God. How it actually needs to be done, I'm not too sure yet, but I do think there's a world where there's something there. Now we're gonna do one more map. I'm gonna do one more, and this time I'm gonna do it with Magic Find, and we're just gonna take a look at the biggest difference of what Magic Find has to add. Now, before we do that, we're gonna make sure the map is modded, corrupted, feels good. We put everything away. And then we're gonna save these for after the next map. We put this in, we start the map. This goes there, that goes there. And then I need to swap one of these rings over to the other character. So let's just put these here for a second. Something really interesting about my other character, the Blade Vortex character, is it uses a Ring of Calandra for a second Mentor's Gamble, but Ring of Calandra can't be anointed. So it makes things a little bit awkward. Okay, so this one says empowering towers have increased effect. And this one says they have increased range. Okay, sweet. I should have made sure there was like no Ellie Reflect on this before I die. Was there Ellie Reflect? No, okay. I like Blade Vortex. It's so fun, dude. This has probably been, I say this dude, I feel like every build I've played this league has been out of this world amazing. Okay. Should change the MTX for cooler explosions. Okay, here's the Cassia. Just get rid of all the mobs really quick so we have no extra factors in on this. We kill everything. Everything's gone away. We'll change our loot filter. We'll make sure there's no weird loot hiding around that'll affect anything. I think that's far enough out of the way. And then we'll start the map. Now we see we have a bunch more lanes this time. They're a little spread out, but we really want to make sure that we're killing. Oh my God, look at all these towers. We really want to make sure that we're killing all of the mobs inside of the empowering towers. This is, once again, the absolute most important part of this. So we're going to try to create a nice little choke point right here. This might be like death of us, but we're just going to get a nice little choke point set up so that we can take really, really, really good advantage of all of these mobs and all of these empowering towers. We're going to get the range scaled up on them. And we're just going to take a look at what loot looks like with a little bit of magic find and a lot more towers this time around. We're going to let these guys come out a little bit. We'll blow them up. Put another tower over here. Go over here, put another tower over there, get that one all set up. And we have just so, like, I think right here is like the little sweet spot, but we have to be careful because like they get a little close and it gets a little sketchy and they get a little oh my God, there's even more towers. What is going on? Oh, wait. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. It's looking good. It's looking good. Okay, and we're done. Guy not gonna die? Oh no. Sir. And you can see, just like that, it is an absolute monstrous explosion of loot. Absolutely crazy. Now, I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to sound like a broken record. I don't know if there's actually something here. I do think there's something here. I do think it needs more testing. I think it's actually affected by Magic Find, which we could see from the massive explosion here. I think it's actually affected by the map mods. I think we can actually scale it even further with messing around with altars, and I think there's something really good about this. And I'm starting to think that if the mobs themselves are affected by the empowering tower and the idea is that we're trying to farm the pump explosions, I think there's an argument to do a map like Jungle Valley where we grab a Jungle Valley map. We grab a Jungle Valley map and we just, juice it all the way up. And once it's juiced all the way up, we run all around, we grab all of the altars and we, do the same thing that you would normally do if you were doing, like, say, a harvest map. You get all the altars, you get all the quant and all the rarity, and then you do the blight and see what happens. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, one of the cool things about Blight and something that you guys might not remember or do remember, is that one of the biggest reasons why we do Blight is we are trying to farm a couple of things. One, we're trying to farm a bunch of blighted maps. You saw that while doing this test, we weren't even aiming for blighted maps, and we got tons and tons of blighted maps. And two, while we were doing this test, we were aiming for a jewelry that's anointed. If you use Awaken POE trade and you just click on your items, you can see the oils that are actually on all of the jewelry. And what you're essentially looking for is a piece of jewelry like this that has silver and black, silver and gold, gold in this, gold in that, anything that has gold, anything that has silver. And if we use an oil extractor on it, it is a 50-50 to what kind of oil we should get. The oils are not weighted. You don't know what you're going to get from extensive testing. It's all 50-50. And as long as there's good oils and you extract them, you should get good jewelry. And this is one of the best ways to get gold oils. This is one of the best ways to get silver oils, especially if you're doing maps. So if you don't know and it's an early league scenario, farming a bunch of gold and silver oils will bring you a lot of currency and pretty much just propel your character into the next stages. Now, like I said, this wasn't a video to just be like, oh my God, the new best crazy blight farming strategies out. Holy cannolis. This is more to like bring some attention to this scarab. Maybe there's something there, maybe there's something not, maybe a little crazy, but if you have experimented with it, you have tried it, you do think there's something there, please leave a comment down below. Stop by the Discord, send me a message, let me know. Stop by the live stream if you see me live, and just let me know. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. I'd love to hear what kind of testing you're doing about it. And I do, man, I really do. I don't know if the idea is to do this scarab. This might be a bad idea, and this might be a world where we put the more bosses scarabs, or like we take this off and we do like, if we do Waste Pool or Crimson Temple or something like that, and we just like stack it to the moon with div cards. There's a world where like, I don't actually know, where we do these and we put 300% more div cards. I don't know. I think there's a lot of room to mess around with. I think there's a lot of room to experiment. I think there's a lot of scarab combinations we haven't thought of and haven't tried. And I would really, you know, honestly, I can't do it alone. So if you want to help, by all means, let me know what you're trying. I'll let you know. I'll keep you guys up to date on what I'm doing and what I'm trying. Maybe we find something. Maybe we stumble upon something really good. Maybe Blight's actually secretly busted and we don't realize it. But for now, friends, I'm going to get this video out to you guys. And if you have any cool ideas or any cool thoughts about it, let me know. Please don't hesitate. But for now, friends, I'll see you all in the next one.